This is from Charlie, in a small Midwestern town. I think some kinds of silence never really leave you, especially the kind that starts when someone you love just disappears. My life split into two parts the day my father walked out, and the silence that followed felt like a second shadow that never really went away. He left on a Tuesday. I remember it because it was chicken casserole night, and I hated chicken casserole. I was in my room pretending to do homework when I heard the front door slam, louder than usual. Then, just silence. Not even footsteps. Just my mom breathing heavy in the kitchen like she'd been punched in the stomach. There wasn't some big explanation. No family meeting, just a shift in energy. His coat wasn't on the hook anymore. His toothbrush was gone. And my mom, she just stared into space for hours that first week. She kept repeating, "We'll be okay." Like she was trying to convince the air, and maybe herself. I didn't ask questions. I was 10, but I knew better. The air in our house felt like glass. You didn't touch it too hard, or it might shatter. I helped where I could. Folded laundry, did the dishes, pretended I was fine, because if I started crying, I didn't think either of us would stop. Every year on my birthday, I'd wait until midnight, just in case you remembered. Even when I told myself I didn't care, I still checked my messages. I'd scroll past all the happy birthdays from friends, hoping maybe there'd be one that started with, "Hey kiddo," but it never came, not once. When I turned 14, I got a job bagging groceries after school. We needed the money, and honestly, I needed the distraction. I didn't go to parties, didn't join any clubs. I was always either working or helping my mom. People thought I was just a responsible kid. But the truth, I didn't know how to be anything else. Sometimes I'd imagine what I'd say if I ever saw him again. Would I yell? Would I ignore him? Would I finally get to ask, "Why did you leave us like that?" But it always felt like a movie I'd never get to be in. Just a scene that kept looping in my head, but never played in real life. Then a few weeks ago, out of nowhere, I got a text from an unknown number. It said, "It's your dad. I'm dying. I'd like to see you, if you're willing." Just like that, 15 years of silence, shattered by one sentence. No apology, no explanation, just him. Back like a ghost, knocking on a door I never wanted to reopen. I didn't respond right away. I just stared at the screen. It felt like my hands weren't connected to my body. There was no anger, no tears, just this strange, quiet ache in my chest, like all the hurt I'd boxed away as a kid had been waiting for this moment to wake up. My mom saw me staring at my phone that night and gently asked, "Is it him?" I nodded. She didn't say much, just held my hand and said, "Whatever you decide, it's okay. Just make sure it's for you, not for him." But that's the thing, I don't know what "for me" even means anymore. The next morning, I told my sister. She was furious, not just that he reached out, but that he dared to call me. "He doesn't get to drop back in now and ask for peace," she said. "He forfeited that right." And part of me agreed, but another part wasn't so sure. I thought maybe I should just see him, not to forgive, but to get answers, to ask him why he left, why he never wrote, why he let us grow up feeling like we weren't worth the effort. But then I wondered, what if his answers aren't enough? What if they only make it worse? I even typed out a reply to him, twice, once angry, once polite, but both times I deleted it, because every version of that message felt like I was giving away something I hadn't even named yet. Maybe it was control. Maybe it was pain I didn't want to share. At work, I found myself zoning out. I watched a customer struggling with their toddler in the checkout line, and something about it hit me. Like that could have been him. He could have been there for the hard days. But he wasn't. And now that it's too late, he wants to rewrite the ending. My mom's been quiet about it, but I know it's affecting her too. She says she doesn't hate him, but I see the way her jaw tightens whenever his name comes up. And maybe that's what scares me most, that even after all these years, he still has power over us. I've replayed that text in my mind 100 times. "It's your dad, I'm dying." It's like he used death as a shortcut, like suddenly he's allowed back in, just because time's running out. But where was that urgency when we were crying ourselves to sleep? Sometimes I wonder if I'm being cruel by ignoring him. Maybe he's scared, alone. Maybe he regrets it all. But I also think maybe he just wants to feel better before he dies. And I'm not sure it's my job to give him peace he never gave us. I went down a rabbit hole the other night, just trying to make sense of everything. Turns out almost 1 in 4 kids in the US grows up without their father around. That number hit me hard, because for so long I thought I was alone in this. But I guess there's a whole world of people walking around with the same quiet ache. Studies say we're more likely to deal with anxiety, self-doubt, trust issues. That made sense to me. How I still flinch when someone says they'll always be there. It's not that I don't want to believe them. It's just hard to trust promises when the first one you ever heard was broken. What surprised me most, though, was learning how the body holds on to this stuff too. Higher stress hormones, chronic fatigue, even inflammation. I used to think I was just tired from working too much, but maybe I've been carrying more than I realized. Not just memories. Wait. Anyway, that night I pulled out an old photo, one of the last with all of us together. We were at a park. I was maybe 8. In the picture, he's holding my hand, but I barely remember the moment. And that's the part that hurts. He left so early, even the good memories feel like strangers. I lay awake thinking, if I don't go, will I regret it forever? But if I do go, will I lose the progress I've made learning how to live without him? It's not just a decision. It's a choice between the person I was and the person I'm trying to be. I thought maybe writing him a letter would help. Not to send, just to get it out. But when I tried, the words wouldn't come. Every sentence felt stuck between I miss you and I don't owe you anything. I guess I still haven't figured out what I want him to know. My roommate asked if I was going to see him. I just shrugged. She said if it were me, I'd want closure. And I get that, but what does closure even mean when the wound never really closed in the first place? Some nights, I catch myself imagining the hospital room. The smell of antiseptic, the beeping machines, his face looking older, smaller than I remember. And I wonder, would I feel relief? Would I cry? Or would I feel nothing at all? I even tried to picture the moment after. Like, if I went, would I walk away feeling lighter? Or would I carry something heavier than I started with? The truth is, I don't think I'd be walking away with answers. Just more questions I'd be too tired to keep asking. There's this weird guilt that creeps in sometimes, like maybe I'm a bad person for not rushing to his side. But then I remember every year he didn't rush to mine. Every parent-teacher night. Every ER visit. Every time I needed someone and he wasn't there. My younger brother texted me yesterday. He said, whatever you decide, don't do it alone. And I think that's the first time in this whole mess I realized we're all still carrying pieces of him, just in different ways. I haven't answered my dad yet. Some days I almost do. Other days, I block the number just to breathe. The not knowing is the hardest part. Because the moment I make a choice, I can't unmake it. And maybe I'm scared that any choice I make will hurt someone, especially me. Sometimes I wonder what he's thinking. Does he sit there hoping I'll come through the door? Does he regret it all? Or just regret the loneliness at the end? Part of me wants to hear his voice one more time, but I don't know if I'd recognize it anymore. There's no neat bow to tie on this. No forgiveness speech. No reunion hug. Just this ache that stretches between who I was as a kid and who I'm still trying to become now. And maybe that's the real story. Not what he wants to say, but what I'm still figuring out how to feel. If someone who abandoned you reached out at the very end, would you go? Would you let them explain? Or would you protect the version of yourself that survived without them? I still don't know what I'll do. What would you do? What would you recommend? Tell me in the comments. And if stories like this hit close to home, please like and subscribe for more.